welcome to the Everything is Earned podcast. My name is Mike, and we are Everything Cleveland. I'm excited to break down everything going on in your Cleveland sports world today. Tim, again, here is not going to be with me today, but no worries. I will keep you guys locked in as to what's happening in your Cleveland sports world. And a lot did happen this week here. I know first and foremost we had the NFL trade deadline, and it kind of came and went. And really, the Browns didn't do anything that exciting or that splash-worthy. I know one of the big things that we had talked about was Trent Williams and adding some depth to the offensive line, but it didn't happen. The asking price, I believe, was too high. There was some really funny stuff out there as far as trading Denzel Ward is what they were asking and a pick. And the Browns just aren't going to give that up to the Redskins for an offensive lineman. Denzel Ward is an absolute playmaker and a game changer, and you're not going to change that just for an offensive lineman. So disappointing there that the Browns don't add additional help on the offensive line. I know Justin McCray had a really low PFF grading, so Pro Football Focus. They graded him very low on last week's performance, which was kind of disappointing. I thought he had a okay game, but there was definitely moments where he needed to play better. And so you know that left tackle position is still a position of concern. I don't know if they're going to move Robinson back into the left tackle position, but if it helps any, I know Nick Chubb had a massive game, and I don't think it was because of the left tackle. But you know we'll see what how it all shakes out. One of the things that was positive over last week's game was Teller, the right tackle. So he was in there and he played very well. Actually, he graded out very well. I thought he made a big block a couple times during some Nick Chubb runs. So excited to see what he can do going forward. I think he's a big enough body that you'll see some improvement on the offensive line with him. But you know, going into the trade deadline, we really thought we'd go pick up an alignment and give Baker Mayfield some additional protection here. But the Browns didn't do it at all. So we go into this week's matchup with the Broncos with the same offensive line. However, they did make a trade for Jannard Avery. They shipped him out to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 4th round draft pick in 2021. So it's going to take a little bit for that to pay off. But if you're not going to use him, might as well get something for him. He originally was a 5th round draft pick, so a little bit of a return on your investment there, but not a great haul. But you weren't using him, so you know what are you going to do? So flashing forward to the Broncos matchup here in Denver, it's going to be it should be an easy one. Let's put it that way. The Browns should have absolutely, positively no problem beating Denver, but you know we're having that kind of season where it just feels like it could be a little bit of a trap game where the Browns could walk in there and find themselves in a battle that they don't need to be in. Their starting quarterback, Joe Flacco, who isn't great in the first place, is past his prime, is not playing. So you have Brandon Allen, and you know we don't really know much about him at all because he's a rookie. So what are you going to do? I mean, you have a rookie quarterback. They trade away Emmanuel Sanders. They have limited availability there as far as offensive weapons. Phillip Lindsay, their running back, is questionable, and their defense is missing Bradley Chubb. He's out for the year. So the team is clearly not the same team that they were to start the year. Denver is vulnerable, and with a lack of offensive ability, the Browns should really put the clamps on them and get a solid, I would say even beat down win against the Broncos. And that's what I'm looking for. If you go into this game and pull out a tight one with 10 penalties and 3 turnovers and you barely win, then nothing has changed week to week. And you have to make a steady improvement here if you're going to even sniff the playoffs to end the season here. So you have to go into this Denver game and put it away early and do it effectively and do it with discipline. And that's one of the things that we haven't seen from the Browns since the Ravens game. And we need to have an effective game plan and just put these guys to sleep early. I think it's going to be a matchup where that's definitely open to doing. And you know, in the NFL, anything can happen, but you absolutely have to shut these guys out early on and make the game out of question, so you don't have yourself a tight matchup where you're trying to beat a a mediocre Denver team. So Denver is a good defense, but they definitely don't have the offensive weapons to compete with the Browns. And unless we're continually shooting ourselves in the foot like we have done this season, the Browns should win this matchup, no problem. So, what if you go and beat Denver? What then? Do we start to feel good about the Browns? Are we ready to turn over a new leaf and say this team is what it is supposed to be? Are we excited yet? And I don't think the answer is quite yes. I think you're probably about 2 weeks away from knowing what you have in this Browns team. You have to beat Denver, and I think you have to beat the Bills. And if you get these two in a row, if you string these two in a row, I think you'll build some real momentum because you should win in Denver, and you should definitely beat the Bills if you think you're an elite team. I know they're having a great season. They're 5-2 right now, but I think if you want to think about the playoffs, you want to think about being an elite team, being a top tier team, you have to take care of business these next 2 weeks. And then, and only then, if you take those next 2 wins, then I think you can start feeling good about this Browns season going forward because you're getting Kareem Hunt back. And, whether or not we know how to use him is a whole other question. But you're getting Kareem Hunt back after the Bills game. I think it's time to turn the Jets on and really get after it and start putting our money where our mouth is. Because we've done enough talking this year. The Browns clearly have a collection of talent, but what we need to see is them put it all together and really take these next 2 wins for us to have some positive momentum and to start building on this season and turning it into what it should be and close it out very strong. So I think you have to win Denver. I think if you win against Buffalo, you really build that momentum that the Browns fans have really been waiting to see, waiting to have. The season just hasn't felt like we've wanted it to feel. We wanted the season to be very exciting. We wanted it to be a big time, we're going to score 30 points. No one's going to stop us. Baker Mayfield's going to be running around and tossing touchdowns. And it's just been, honestly, a very frustrating year so far. And I think all fans feel that. So I'm ready to shake off the frustration. I'm ready to turn a new leaf here and I'll get this win in Denver and start the ball rolling. So we have to do that. We have to make it a quick, I want to say easy win, and then look forward to the game against Buffalo. So flipping the script a little bit, I want to talk about the Cavs because the Cavs are starting to become a very interesting, very intriguing story for me. And the reason that is I think I'm going to be right. I know you guys know I love to be right here, but I think I'm going to be right. And what I mean by that is I think the Cavs are going to be a 7th and 8th RA seed in the playoffs. Looking at the team and looking at what we were able to accomplish just in the first 4 games here is quite impressive. And we're 2-2, we're undefeated at home. But when I say it's impressive, I mean because they're taking the talent they have, they're utilizing the pieces that are in place, and players are performing up to their ability for the most part. Tristan Thompson is playing well above his ability. He looks like the best version of Tristan Thompson we've ever had. I'm quite honestly very impressed with his play. He had a career-high 5 blocks there tonight against the Chicago Bulls, and I'm just loving watching him play. He's playing with a passion and with a fire that I know Tristan always plays with, but it's just really impressive when you start to see what he's able to do on the offensive end that we haven't seen from him in the past, and his rim protection has gone up dramatically. His timing is better. He's taking on the best players, and he's not backing down to anybody. And it's really pretty impressive. He had a couple of really aggressive dunk backs, on Wednesday against the Bulls, and his play honestly kept the Cavs in the game. Early on in the first quarter, they had dropped down by I think 8 or 9, and Tristan Thompson came back with back-to-back buckets. And when they called timeout, he was barking all the way to the bench and was jacked up and was yelling. And I just love to watch that aggressiveness on him because they seem to like really playing with each other. And Tristan's like leading this group with Kevin Love, and it's kind of an odd pairing because I know they've been here for a while, but they're taking this team and they're really leading them so far, and they're putting guys in the position to be successful. And John Beilein has just impressed me greatly early. I think he's just going to be a phenomenal coach in the NBA, and he's learned and adapted so quickly already in the few games we watch him play, and or rather coach. And I just love what I'm seeing out of Beilein. I think he's really, really impressive. The Chicago game that happened Wednesday was definitely a losable game, but I think our coaching made the difference, and he put guys in the position to be successful. It seemed like every moment of the game. When Delly wasn't doing it, he stopped playing Delly. When he realized that Kevin Porter Jr. was starting to get a feel for the game, they gave Kevin Porter Jr. more minutes. When they knew that Jetty was getting open for threes and he was going to get his opportunities, they started running things more to Jetty. I mean, it was like they were reacting the game, and it was wonderful to see because they weren't just playing players to play players. They're putting players in a position to be successful based on the matchups, based on what was going on the court, and I loved seeing that because it really showed how an impact a coach could have on the game, especially for a young team, a team that's building like the Cavaliers. And it was great to see Tristan and Kevin Love really lead the way. I mean, Kevin Love was an absolute animal the other night. I believe he pulled down like 20 boards. Let me just check the stat real quick here because it was wildly impressive. We might have Minnesota Kevin back. I know everyone's been saying, "Oh, we want Minnesota Kevin back. We want to see him, get bulked up and get after it." And I don't think you need a bulky Kevin Love to have Minnesota Kev. Kevin went 17 points, 20 rebounds. That's impressive. That's some big grown man stuff right there. Kevin Love went out there, made it happen. And he was gobbling up the rebounds. He almost had a double-double at the end of the first quarter. He set the tone very early that he was going to control the glass, and the Cavs were going to control the glass, and they did that throughout the game. And it was quite honestly impressive what he was able to do out there. The Cavs easily won the rebounding battle, 57-41. I think that's a staple of this year's Cavaliers. They're going to control the paint, and they're not going to apologize for it. When you have advantages, you have to play those advantages. I think every night when the Cavs step on the floor, they have two of the best big men on the floor in terms of Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. Now, you can argue with me all you want about that, but I think it's simply the case. When you have guys with that type of ability and with that type of championship pedigree, you have to understand that we're going to attack the rebounds and we're going to win the glass battle. And if we do that, the Cavs are going to put themselves in a great position to win every night. Now, they're not going to have the player that's going to go out and going to get you a bucket when you need one necessarily, but I think you're developing guys like Garland, like Sexton, like Kevin Porter that can go get you a bucket. And it was really evident the other night when you watched the end of that Bulls game. They had just a very aggressive, very high pace, physical play to end the game, and they were not going to back down to the Bulls, especially at home. And, they all rallied together. They all put together some real hustle plays, some real momentum-changing plays. Tristan Thompson had 2 mega blocks at the end, and then Colin Sexton had that ridiculous dunk that no one saw coming, and it just put the icing on the cake and sealed up the game. And it was really impressive to watch a young team like that battle through some ups and downs throughout the game, and then string together some quality possessions down the stretch, and then get the ball to playmakers and close a game out like that. That was easily in the balance and could have been lost, but coaching and determined play and cohesive play came together, and the Cavs got the win. So we play Indiana tonight against Indiana in Indiana. I know we beat them during the home opener the other day, so they'll look to bounce back. But I think the Cavs need to go grab their first road win here and build on the momentum that they built up the other day. So you take that positive momentum from the Chicago game, and you go into this Indiana game. Then you play the Mavericks on Sunday, and you start to build some positive momentum. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Cavs match up against a team like the Mavericks on Sunday and like a team like the Celtics next week, and just see where a development is. One of the things to watch out for early on is Brandon Knight is playing like no minutes at all. I don't know if it's because they're shopping him right now or because he just doesn't fit the game plan, but Brandon Knight is not getting in. Beilein is favoring Deladova over Knight, and we'll see if that trend continues or if it's just something that they're trying to shop. But if you're not going to use Brandon Knight, I'd like to see him moved just so you can get some assets back here. So I think he's a serviceable NBA player. I just don't think he's going to end up on this roster if Beilein's not using him already. So something to consider, something to think about. But some positive things to think about in the Cleveland sports landscape here. I'm excited for what the Cavs have done so far. I think I'm going to be right about this playoff potential they have. And I need to watch the Browns go out there and play a disciplined game of football. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I want to see disciplined, quality play, and I want to see Freddie coach a good game from start to finish. So those are going to be my key points here going forward. I'm excited because I'm excited for what we got going on here. We'll get back with you here very soon, and we'll talk more to you guys on Monday after the Browns game and after these two Cavs games, and hopefully we'll have some wins to talk about. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, my name is Mike. This is the Everything Is Earned podcast. We are everything in Cleveland. We are everything Cleveland. That's our name here. And remember that in Cleveland, everything is earned.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.